GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening, I'm Mark Beaumont. This hour we're tracking a surge in raccoon rabies cases across the island and a daring police chase after a stolen patrol car that spanned nearly 60 kilometers. Later, we'll preview the Montreal Summer Market and Food Festival along the canal. Over to you, Emma.
The Montreal Summer Market and Food Festival opens this weekend along the Lachine Canal, featuring over 50 local vendors offering fresh produce, artisanal breads, and handmade desserts.
Operating daily from 9 in the morning until 7 at night, the market also hosts live folk performances on a floating stage, encouraging visitors to stroll and sample.
A dedicated children's corner offers cooking workshops every afternoon, while compost bins placed throughout the venue support the festival's zero-waste commitment.
Lots to get to. Let's begin our evening together and dive into the stories awaiting us as the city lights twinkle over the canal. Our city's new transit plan will reshape daily commutes, promising faster routes, greener travel, and improved accessibility for all Montrealers. Quebec public health officials are warning that raccoon rabies cases continue to spread in communities south and east of the island. The latest surveillance reports show a steady rise in confirmed infections among raccoons, prompting authorities to advise residents to avoid contact with wildlife and to secure garbage containers. Rabies is a viral disease that can be transmitted to humans and domestic animals through bites or scratches from infected animals. Health officials stress the importance of vaccinating pets, especially dogs and cats, and to seek immediate medical attention if a bite occurs. They also recommend keeping pets on leashes during early morning and evening walks when raccoons are most active. The province will increase baiting programs in the affected zones and is coordinating with municipal services to monitor the situation closely.
Montreal police are in pursuit of a 28-year-old male suspect after he commandeered a patrol vehicle early Tuesday. The unauthorized use of the police car triggered a high-speed chase that stretched across the city for nearly 60 kilometers. Officers located the stolen vehicle on the outskirts of Montreal before the suspect attempted to evade capture, prompting a coordinated response from multiple units. The pursuit began on June 19 and remains ongoing as officers work to bring the individual to safety. Multiple police units have been dispatched to assist, and traffic control has been alerted to the ongoing pursuit. No injuries have been reported among officers or civilians during the chase. The suspect remains at large, and authorities are urging residents to avoid the affected corridors until the situation is resolved. The incident is being investigated as a serious breach of police protocol.
City officials released the latest municipal financial report, showing that this winter season became the most costly in a decade. Record revenue from traffic and other fines helped offset the surge, but police overtime alone topped 80 million Canadian dollars. The overtime payments reflect heightened winter-related duties, from snow removal support to increased patrols during severe weather events. City accountants noted that overall winter expenses rose sharply compared with the previous 9 years, prompting the highest total outlay since the 2016 to 2017 fiscal period. The report, published annually, details all revenues, expenditures, and special payments, including the police overtime figure. Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada's office said the data will inform budgeting decisions for the coming year. Police spokesperson confirmed the overtime was authorized under existing emergency provisions and will be scrutinized in the next council meeting.
Authorities say a lone kangaroo that fled from an illegal private holding on the South Shore has found a new home at Granby Zoo. Granby Zoo, situated on the South Shore about an hour east of the island, is a provincial wildlife park known for its large collection of animals. Staff at the zoo confirmed the marsupial arrived early this morning after a search through the neighborhood, and today the animal appears to be eating well and settling into its enclosure. The kangaroo was discovered wandering near a residential street in Granby after escaping from a property where it had been kept without the required permits. Zoo officials said they will provide a permanent habitat and veterinary care, and they hope the case underscores the risks of keeping exotic wildlife without licensing. The rescue also highlights the role zoos play in offering safe shelter for animals rescued from unlawful ownership.
Mayor Soria Martinez Ferrada will meet privately with the Service de Police de la Ville de Montreal today to discuss the planned dismantling of Police District 39, known as PDQ 39. The closed-door session comes as the public hearing scheduled to examine the SPVM's 2025 report has been postponed. Officials said the delay allows the mayor and police leadership to resolve operational details before the report is presented publicly. The PDQ dismantling has raised questions about resource allocation across the island, prompting the city's top elected official to intervene directly. No further information about the timing of a new hearing has been released, and the SBVM has not commented on the specific reasons for the postponement. The city council will monitor the outcome, and the mayor indicated that decision will be communicated once the discussion concludes. Stakeholders awaiting the report remain without a new date for public review. Later we'll see why the Gatineau Light Rail project just jumped to $8 billion, and what that means for commuters. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches, no middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the break. Let's turn now to Emma Leclerc for the local stories shaping our city tonight.
Gatineau project cost swells to $8 billion. The Quebec Transportation Agency announced on June 19 that the projected cost of the 24-kilometer Gatineau light rail line has risen to roughly $8 billion, about 4 times the original estimate. The sharp increase has prompted agency officials to consider scaling back the project's scope. The tramway, originally planned at a substantially lower price, now faces scrutiny over affordability. Discussions are underway about possible reductions to the line's length, station count, or other elements to bring the program back within budgetary limits. The agency has not yet released a revised timeline but indicated that any changes will be evaluated before further construction proceeds. The original budget for the project was approximately $2 billion. Officials said the review will consider eliminating certain stations and adjusting service frequency. The agency said it will present a revised proposal to the provincial government within weeks.
Hydro-Quebec announced the closure of its Battery Material Research Center in Montreal on June 19. The decision ends a program that had been dedicated to developing advanced storage technologies for the province's power grid. Roughly 90 staff members will see their positions terminated as the facility shuts its doors. Company officials said the move reflects a shift in strategic priorities, though they did not detail alternative plans for the research team. The closure marks the loss of a specialized laboratory that once contributed to provincial efforts to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Employees are now facing the prospect of reassignment or job search, while the province's broader clean energy roadmap will continue without the dedicated battery material hub. The center, operating for close to 10 years, had partnered with local universities. Several lithium-sulfur projects are now on hold, and research funding will be redirected to other Hydro-Quebec initiatives.
Éric Duhaime, leader of the Conservative Party of Quebec, announced today that he has been cleared of the alleged non-compliant election expenses that the Parti Québécois said violated the province's spending rules. Elections Quebec responded that its review has not found definitive proof of wrongdoing, but emphasized that the agency continues to monitor compliance with Quebec's strict campaign finance limits. The party's statement came after the PQ filed a formal complaint accusing the Conservatives of exceeding the legal spending cap during the recent election cycle. Elections officials said the investigation remains open to further evidence, while Duhaime reiterated that his campaign adhered to all regulations. The dispute underscores the rigorous oversight applied to election financing in the province, where any breach can trigger penalties or legal action. In Montreal, the controversy is drawing attention from voters who follow the tightly regulated election process.
Paramedic ambulance crews represented by CSN-affiliated unions announced a coordinated refusal to work overtime beginning June 23. The action will affect designated areas across Quebec, where staff will limit themselves to regular shifts while negotiations continue. Union officials say the step is intended to increase pressure on health authorities and employers to address outstanding concerns. No immediate impact on emergency response times has been confirmed, but the loss of extra hours could affect staffing during peak periods. The decision follows months of stalled dialogue, prompting the unions to adopt this more assertive approach. The unions stress that overtime has become essential for covering service gaps, and they hope the stoppage will prompt a quicker resolution to collective bargaining talks. Health agencies are closely monitoring staffing levels to ensure critical care remains uninterrupted. Authorities have not yet indicated a response timeline.
Radio-Canada's latest analysis, based on Hydro-Quebec electricity records, shows roughly 25,000 apartments sitting empty across the city. The count emerges as the region grapples with a persistent housing shortage, prompting a clash of narratives. Landlord groups point to market cycles and temporary relocations as the main drivers, while housing advocates argue that rising rents and speculative practices leave units unoccupied on purpose. Both sides cite the same data but differ on interpretation, underscoring a dispute over how to address the vacancy gap. Officials have not yet released a plan to reconcile the differing views, and the study adds another layer to ongoing debates about affordability and supply in the current crisis. Tenants searching for affordable homes may find fewer options as the gap widens, intensifying pressure on already stretched rental markets.
Now let's turn to our meteorologist for a quick look at tonight's weather.
Evening settles over Montreal, and the sky paints the perfect backdrop for tonight's weather update. On this day, Montreal saw a scorching record high of 33.7 degrees Celsius back in 2024, a spike that arrived with an early summer heat wave stretching across the province. Just 2 years earlier, in 2022, the city recorded a chilly record low of 8.7 degrees Celsius, a surprise dip that followed a sudden cold front from the north. By contrast, the climate normal for June 19th hovers around 22 degrees high and 14 degrees low, reminding us how today's extremes sit far outside the usual range. Right now at 6 p.m., the city sits under an overcast veil with a temperature of 18 degrees Celsius, humidity lingering at 87%, and a gentle breeze from the east at 20 kilometers per hour. The sky will stay mostly clouded through the evening, slipping to 17 degrees at 7 p.m. The UV index remains modest at 4, so sunscreen isn't a priority. Winds may gust up to 43 kilometers per hour from the west later in the night, adding a brisk feel, but no rain is expected. There are no active weather alerts, so you can enjoy your plans without concern. Let's now glance at the 5-day outlook. Saturday starts mild with a high of 21 degrees and a low of 15, overcast skies, and a 30% chance of rain, so a light jacket and umbrella are wise. Sunday holds the same temperatures, but drizzle persists, and the rain probability rises to 65%, making a soggy commute likely. Monday brightens to clear skies, high 24 and low 16, though a quarter chance of rain suggests keeping a raincoat handy. Tuesday mirrors Monday's warmth with clear conditions, high 24 and low 16, but a 30% rain chance adds a hint of uncertainty. Wednesday returns to overcast, high 23 and low 16, and the weekend showers fade, leaving a drier feel. Stay flexible and enjoy the mix of sunshine and occasional showers.
Up next, traffic updates, a preview of the Summer Market and Food Festival, a look at the hockey playoffs. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
All major routes are moving freely this afternoon. Autoroute 15 eastbound, Boulevard St. Laurent and Rue Shair show smooth flow, with travel times matching normal conditions. No accidents, roadwork, or police activity are reported across the island. That means you can stick to your usual routes without detours. Expect a gradual rise in volume around downtown office districts as the workday winds down, especially on the south side of Rue University and near the Ville-Marie Tunnel. By early evening, Autoroute 15 eastbound and the Descaries Expressway may see a modest slowdown as commuters head home. Keep an eye on those corridors after 6 p.m. if you're heading into the West Island or the South Shore. Transit lines are operating on schedule with no reported delays. So for now, the streets are clear, but plan for a typical end-of-day build-up on the main arteries.
Montreal's Summer Market and Food Festival opens today on Place des Festivals, turning the streets into a 3-day feast of local chefs, food trucks, and live music, perfect for a bite and beat stroll after work. Along the Lachine Canal, Festival sur le Canal brings families together with performances, community games, and a splash of summer rhythm, all right at the Esplanade du Centenaire. Just a short walk away, Les Ginks lights up the waterfront terrace with comedy shows, tiki cocktails, and artisan stalls, giving the canal a laid-back lounge vibe you won't want to miss. For a burst of adrenaline, the Parkour Quebec Championship runs across various venues, where elite athletes flip and sprint through the city's urban playground, a thrilling reminder of Montreal's kinetic spirit. And looking ahead, tomorrow kicks off Festival Juicif at La Livery and Usinc, a 3-day celebration of sensuality and artistic expression that promises bold workshops and an erotic market. Stay tuned, summer calendar humming. And now here's Jason with sports.
A quieter sports board today, with no fresh local team update from RSS. 2 Montreal Canadiens took home NHL awards on June 5th. Captain Nick Suzuki claimed the Frank J. Selk Trophy, recognized as the league's top defensive forward. Cole Caulfield earned the Lady Byng Trophy for sportsmanship and gentlemanly play. A strong statement for a franchise building toward contention. The Canadiens' playoff run is over. Carolina eliminated Montreal in the Eastern Conference Final, with Logan Stankoven scoring one of 3 Hurricanes' first-period goals in Game 5. The Hurricanes advanced to the Stanley Cup Final. CBC Sports reports Montreal's promising postseason ends at the conference stage. An emotional goodbye in Montreal. Brendan Gallagher, described by CBC Sports NHL as the longest-serving Canadian, announced he is moving on from the only NHL franchise he has ever known. Gallagher said it is time to, quote, find a new home, closing the chapter on a lengthy career in blue, Blanquette Rouge.
Finance Montreal, the downtown hub for green investment, sits at the heart of Rue St. Laurent. This week, the 6th Sustainable Finance Summit gathered governments, banks, and international bodies under one roof, and Quebec unveiled North America's first sustainable finance roadmap. The Canadian government pledged $10 million to keep the International Sustainability Standards Board in our city, cementing Montreal's role as a North American center for responsible capital. For the neighborhood, the influx of analysts and climate-focused firms means new jobs, vibrant office life, and a clear signal that downtown is evolving into a green finance district. For Montrealers, Finance Montreal is the quiet engine turning our city's climate ambition into real capital. And later, the mayor will sit down with police on the PDQ dismantling, as the public hearing gets rescheduled.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Tonight on the banks of the St. Lawrence, under the glow of the old clock tower at the Montreal General Hospital, a quiet celebration unfolded. Canadian midfielder Ismail Kane, fresh from Canada's 6-0 triumph over Qatar at the World Cup, emerged from surgery with a smile that lit the recovery room. Surgeons, led by Dr. Louise Tremblay, described the procedure as flawless, stitching the fracture that had threatened to sideline a rising star. In the hallway, his mother clutched a maple leaf pin, whispering encouragement as the team's physiotherapist placed a fresh bandage over his shin. A young fan, notebook in hand, drew a quick sketch of Kane's jersey, promising to cheer louder when he runs again. The moment that made it all worth it arrived when Kane, still in his hospital gown, stood with the support of a sturdy crutch, raised his right arm and said, "I'm ready to get back on the pitch for our next dream." The city's love for the game and its heroes turned a medical milestone into a shared promise of resilience.
Tonight, the Francos de Montreal Festival turned a drizzle into a celebration of resilience. On the bustling St. Laurent Boulevard under a canopy of string lights, the crowd huddled beneath umbrellas as the sky darkened. Local hip-hop duo Corias and Loud stepped onto the stage, microphones glinting wet, and launched into a set that refused to be drowned out by the rain. The first beat thumped like a heartbeat against the pavement, and the audience roared, pushing the clouds back. A girl in a raincoat lifted her hands, water beading on her wrist as she sang, while a vendor handed out cups of cocoa to keep spirits warm. The rhythm carried through the mist, turning each drop into a percussion accent that added texture to the verses. How many of us have found ourselves dancing in the rain, letting the music drown out the clouds? By the time the final chorus faded, the storm had softened to a gentle mist, and the crowd erupted in applause that lingered after the lights dimmed. In moments like this, Montreal's community reminds us that music can brighten even the cloudiest evenings.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us tonight. That unexpected kangaroo hopping through Granby Zoo gave us a reminder that surprises still leap out of the ordinary. I'm Mark Beaumont, and we'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to our city. Stay safe and see you then.